Hi, I'm stuck in bed, and you're stuck in here with me. But today might be a glimmer of hope, a spark, a light at the end of the tunnel, not being a train coming to run me over. Who really knows? But there's just that tiny little bit, and that makes me so happy right now. Now, before I go any further, I'm going to be discussing a lot of sensitive topics, specifically my journey with having a chronic illness. So that means such things as fat shaming, ableism, transphobia, etc., are going to be brought up. If that's too much for you, or if you have any trauma from dealing with medical professionals, because doctors are the worst at times, you might want to not watch this video. Okay, now that that's out of the way, the thing that has me so happy about today is a recent article published by Stanford about the scientists finding a biomarker for identifying chronic fatigue syndrome, or also known as myalgic encephalomyelitis, or also known as ME/CFS. So if anyone doesn't know what that means, it refers to a collection of symptoms such as, this is a long list, get ready. Fatigue being the main one. I'm talking intense fatigue. Then headaches, nausea, abdominal pain, recurrent sore throats, flu-like symptoms, pain in your arms and legs, that is, can be burning, numbing tingliness in your extremities. Oh, and I'm forgetting the other fun one, brain fog, which is when you can't remember words or concepts or really anything, and you're just wildly pointing in the distance I need. Yeah. I was trying to discuss Studio Ghibli films, and because of brain fog, I forgot Hayao Miyazaki's name. I felt like such a fake fan. But yeah, those are the symptoms. The cause? We don't know. There are so many theories. The most common one is that it's caused by some sort of viral infection that has made the immune system go wonky. Wonky being the correct scientific term. Because, it's really just so up in the air, theories are being thrown around, but no one knows the exact cause. Because we don't know the exact cause, there is no treatment or way to, or diagnostic testing. But this might change soon. Of course, this is an old article from 2019. I'm only talking about it now because I only just found out about it. And yeah, they might have found a biomarker, so there'd be a way to test for it. They used a nanoelectronic blood assay, which means that they took samples of people's blood. There were 40 people in the study, 20 people who were diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome /ME, and 20 people who were not. And they took their blood and shot different electrical frequencies at it. The people who had chronic fatigue syndrome /ME, I'm just going to say ME from now on because it's quicker, they had higher spikes in the findings, which showed that their immune system wasn't correctly responding to stress. And by looking at this specific biomarker, they might eventually be able to develop a way to test for it. And this is so important to people with CFS-ME. I broke my promise. ME, because Well, there's just no testing right now. So if you have these symptoms and the post-exertional malaise, oh, I didn't mention that. Anytime after you exert yourself, on you will experience a post-exertional malaise where you will lose the ability to do basically anything. I mean, that depends on the person's severity. For me, if I sit up for too long or try and walk by myself, I'll have a post exertional malaise, which means I won't be able to move for like a day or so. So it's fun stuff. But people who experience those symptoms, they can't just go to a doctor, tell them the symptoms, and the doctor can be like, okay, let's test for this so we can rule this out. Because there's no testing for it. So you have to rule out everything before you can get this diagnosis. And I've been trying to get this diagnosis for a year now. My doctor thinks I have it, and I have a working diagnosis, so it's kind of just that label, but it's not confirmed, so I have to rule out everything. Anything related to heart, to lungs, to kidney, to GI problems. Basically, everything. And it's a lot of testing, and it takes a long time to get a diagnosis, which is hard because without that diagnosis, you can't get anything. Like, services keep denying you. I tried to apply to get rides to my doctor's office because I don't have a car and I don't drive, and I can't take public transit because I'll collapse. And they said it wasn't medically necessary for me to get those rides because I don't have a diagnosis. So they're like, oh, you're clearly not sick. You have no diagnosis. But I need to get these rides to the doctors to get tested to get that diagnosis. And also health insurance has been like, are you sure you need these tests? Your medical charts don't show any diagnosis that indicates that you would need these tests. You need to have these certain conditions to get these tests. But I need to get these tests to rule out whatever sickness or different disease or any problems with my body so that I can get that diagnosis. It is so goddamn frustrating. I just feel like I'm going insane. Like I am screaming into the void right now because there is no way to get diagnosed without going through this costly and long process. I am blessed to have my insurance cover most things. There's other people who don't have quite as good insurance who will have to pay out of pocket for some of these tests, and there is a lot that you have to go through because you have to rule out every other problem before you can say, okay, it is this problem. Which, oh my god, is frustrating. I can't, I honestly feel like I am going insane to have such severe symptoms occur to me. Go to the doctor, get these tests, have it come back normal and be told there's nothing wrong with me, and I'm literally bedbound on... When was the last day I wasn't bedbound? Oh, I think it was like last August I had a good day. But for the most time, I can't even get out of bed without my aids. So I can tell very obviously there's a problem wrong with me, and I keep telling people and they don't believe me. Because of the post-exertional malaise, I've had several moments where I've collapsed, went to the ER, had tests done there, got told there's nothing wrong with me, and then sent back home. It's gotten to the point where I don't even bother going to the ER anymore. Because what are they going to do? Run a bunch of tests on me, charge my insurance, and tell me there's nothing wrong with me? That's all they're going to do. So I'm always worried, like if I'm going to the doctors, that if I collapse while I'm at the doctor's, that they're going to call the ER. I was at one doctor's where I did start to collapse and I had to call for a ride home. Thankfully, I had my case manager. But I was worried that they would send me to the ER, and then there, I'd get treated like shit because they weren't able to find anything wrong with me. Which, speaking of fat shaming, that's a constant. All the fucking time. Oh, I swore. Oh well. All the time. I swear to God. The instant doctors see that you are assigned female at birth and that you are overweight, they think, oh, that explains why you're having all these problems. There can't be anything else to explain these problems. And it makes me so angry. Especially with all the mountains of scientific evidence that shows that fatness isn't as linked to health as believed. And the fact that fat shaming is connected to white supremacy in that it enforces a European beauty standard onto people, and if they don't fit that standard, then they fall short, obviously. Yeah. But it can be very demeaning, dehumanizing. It can make you feel like nothing to go into a doctor, have all these problems, be told, oh, you just need to lose weight, and then to have nothing else. Because of the way the American health system works with a referral, you first have to get someone to believe you. You need that referral. Otherwise, you can't get these other tests or see these other doctors that you need, such as specialists. I can't just go in to a cardiologist. I need to get my primary doctor to believe me and to give me a referral to see a cardiologist. And it took such a long time to even find one doctor who would believe me. I am so thankful for the doctor I have now who is working with me and helping me and who believes me. But even she can't do much if the health insurance denies. Because my doctor tried to give me a prescription to get a wheelchair, and the health insurance was like, your condition isn't fully documented enough to warrant needing this wheelchair, and it's so dumb. Oh my God. But yeah, you go in the ER, they see you're fat and female, and they're like, that must be your problem. And I get so annoyed being told that I have to eat more veggies and cut out red meat and eat healthier, exercise more. Because one thing, I can't exercise more. I will collapse and be in pain and be unable to move. And I like being able to sit up and talk to people and feed myself. So no thank you. And the other thing is, I'm vegan. So I don't eat any red meat. My diet is mainly fruits and vegetables. And yes, I do take supplements, so it's not B12 deficiency. That's already been rolled out. So, it's exhausting. Especially when they don't listen to you. They just hook an IV up, and then when you wake up, they send you home. I mean, I literally had a bag with me one time, and my cane, and I couldn't lift the bag. So I was, sent home, and I'm walking through the ER's hallways, and I'm just dragging this bag, and it's on the ground, and I'm just hobbling with my cane and struggling to get to the door. And the lady at the desk is like, oh, you shouldn't drag your bag on the ground. You're going to trip. And I just gave her a look. I can't lift it. It's, I don't know. The entire way our health system is set up, even just from the way we train our doctors, with the way that schooling's set up and how it's so hard and the pace is so quick and have to get everything done as quick as possible, it doesn't really allow for people who are spoonies, that means people who have chronic illnesses, to really become doctors because of all the energy and work that is required. So you have college, which is a hard thing to get through in the first place. And then you have med school and the long hours, the long nights, that just does not work for someone who has any chronic illness with fatigue, pain, or any kind of those symptoms. So for the most part, people who are spoonies, they have to drop out of school. They can't do it the way it's set up. So then well, I won't say only, because I'm sure there are spoonies who have made it through med school. You rock. Good on you. But you have mostly healthy doctors who get to the end, who've never experienced any of these symptoms. They don't know what it feels like. They don't understand that the pain you get from a period abdominal pain is different than other pain that you could feel in your abdominal region. They don't understand. They've never felt these things or like dealt with depression for a lot of them, or anxiety, or anything. So they're so quick to dismiss people with chronic illnesses and their lives and their experience, because they're just like, oh, everyone gets tired. It's really hard to explain the degree to which it is. And then this also filters into the first thing being doctors tend not to believe black people. Doctors don't believe women. And doctors specifically don't believe black women. And I'm not interested in arguing with anyone about this. This has all been documented so well. If you're interested, the studies are out there. Go read up. But our entire medical system has been built around studying on people who were deemed lesser and basically animals. And yeah, a lot of those people were black slaves. I mean, gynecology was from doing experiments on black women slaves. We just have to accept this. This is the truth. We have to fix our medical system. So you have a system that is, number one, so hard and so tough for anybody with an actual chronic illness to get through it, that you have doctors who've never experienced having a chronic illness, so they don't understand what people need. And then number two, you have a system that's built on white supremacy, like almost every other thing in America. So it has this system of hierarchy that they put with, of course, a white cis male at the top. And everyone else is kind of like, are you sure you're not just being melodramatic? Like, are you sure it's not just in your head? I think it's just in your head. Yeah, it's just in your head. I mean, our tests say there's nothing wrong, so there can't be anything wrong. And there's such a reliance on tests and diagnosing that they're not actually listening to the patients. You go in for your standard doctor checkup. They barely look at you. They're looking at a screen. They're typing a few things in. They're like, So, 1 to 10, how bad is this? Da da da. Okay, yeah. I haven't found anything wrong. You can go home now. And it's like, and they're not connecting with you. There's not that personable element to it, which is why a lot of people turn to alternative methods. Because if modern science has failed us, maybe the past knows something. Like, I wouldn't trust alternative medicine because I'm I'm really logical in the way I approach things, so I also want evidence. That's a fault with me, to rely so much on evidence and proof and hard facts that you're not seeing people's experiences. But I can understand why after 5 to 10 years, because it's going to take 5 years for someone with a chronic illness to get diagnosed, and it gets extended to like 10 years if they're fat or non-white or both. Both would be bad. So I can understand why someone who's gone through this process would be like, fuck it, I'm trying bee stings or ayahuasca or just something for it to work, because I can't live with the pain or the tiredness or seizures or whatever problem you have, because it's a lot. And at the end, you just get so desperate that you'll take anything. I had one test come back with my vitamin D levels being a bit low, and I was so happy that happened. It was like, yes, there's finally something here. This might give us a cool clue into what's wrong. It could be something, anything. Oh God, yes. But like, that whole journey is a long way to say that having a diagnostic test for ME would be incredible. It would change so many people's lives, because right now it's estimated that 2 million people have it in America. Just America. And that's just too many people. And a lot of them are going undiagnosed because of how costly it can be to get tests done, and how insurance won't help out if you don't have a diagnosis, and all these other things. And even just doctors not believing, because ME mainly affects females. So, and as discussed earlier, our system's already predisposed to dismiss females. And for the longest time, it was thought that it was psychosomatic. And just the fact that there might be a biological factor in its cause would change so much, just in how it's approached by doctors and how it gets treated. Also in the amount of funding it would get to discover a treatment. Because yeah, there's no treatment. And that's another hard thing. But that's why I'm really happy. I mean, even though I ranted for a while, I had to get this all off my chest. I'm just so happy that there's a biological factor. And the study suggests that they could use this biological factor to test drug therapies and find one that actually works. And that's amazing. That's amazing. And I can't express how happy that makes me feel. Alright. Well, I'm stuck in bed. You are stuck here with me. But you may go now and explore the world. And maybe one day I'll be able to join you. Also, if you want to find out more, there's this really great Netflix documentary called Unrest. UNREST. And it's about somebody's experience with ME. It's really informative. I suggest you watch it so you can understand more. And thank you for listening to me rant. Bye!